highly recommend, not telling you what to do, spending some time outside this evening, maybe a walk or eating outside. It just feels so great because oftentimes this time of year, you can drop down in the 70s or still be in the 80s during an evening, but it feels really oppressively humid. We don't have that. Now, this will start to come up through the weekend, and then eventually we'll have multiple days like this once we get closer to October, but this is just a nice treat for this time of the year, and it feels just comfortable and warm. Overnight tonight, we'll drop back down to the lower 60s, some of us down into the 50s as well. A clear sky will do this, and then we'll range anywhere from the lower to the mid 60s through your holiday weekend. Our rainfall chances also picking up through your Labor Day weekend as well. Just isolated at this point, so nothing really too wild. And it looks like Saturday is going to be the warmest day of these three. Of course, Friday is the warmest day over the next 7. And then we're right around 82 degrees Sunday, Monday, and we'll throw Tuesday in there as well. The only change that I am considering to make, I have a 20% chance for rain right now on Monday. But I think it's a solid bet most of us stay dry. So don't be surprised if by tomorrow that's down to a 10 to a 0 because things are really heading in a good direction there. So let's go through our futurecasts. Our futurecasts, sometimes you kind of have to look deeper into it. I can't just trust, oh, there's going to be spotty rain showers today. Now we're too dry, way too dry. Even if there's rain 2,000 feet up in the air, it's not going to hit the surface. So you might see a darker cloud from time to time today, but it's not going to rain. You're good to go. Now, I think the mountains of the foothills, if you squeeze out a sprinkle for a couple seconds, that is the maximum. But no rain, nothing measurable, and really nothing to note. By tomorrow, absolutely a 0 chance, because check it out. It is perfectly clear at one point, really late morning heading into the afternoon. We'll pick up a few of those fair weather cumulus clouds just as we did yesterday, a few more clouds through your evening, but really a picture perfect just like yesterday for tomorrow. And then for your Saturday at noon, we're dry. After 2 o'clock, we have a chance for a few of these guys. Now, these are very few and far between, not an absolute guaranteed chance for an isolated storm, but by about 3 to 5 o'clock, we're seeing some isolated showers. I think it's the best chance for rain really for the mountains and foothills heading into your Saturday evening into Sunday morning, and then another shot at an isolated storm during Sunday afternoon. But all in all, not really a bad weekend, just picking up more clouds and that brief rain chance. Heading into next week, back to the lower 80s, drier forecast just in time for the nights to come back in town. And as we head into the first weekend of September, temperatures should be close to normal in the mid to the upper 80s. A good looking fall-like forecast, not so August-like. Let's get over to Destiny, who's joining us doing traffic this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's definitely starting to get busy out there. Just be aware if you're heading out on the road, whether you're commuting to work or getting started on that Labor Day travel. Remember, the best time to travel today is before 1 p.m. Worst time is between 1 and 8. But no matter where you're going, you want to drive absolutely safe. This is I-77 northbound at Nations Ford and Tyvola Road near those exits. This morning, traffic has been backing up on the northbound side of I-77 near South Charlotte because of this pedestrian accident. You can see the backup right here. It's at Nations Ford Road at I-77 this morning. So still trying to get more information on this one. Obviously a big impact to the commute on I-77 this morning. So that is the big story there. Pedestrian accident also in North Charlotte, north of Uptown. So definitely a dangerous situation with both of these accidents. North Graham Street at Franklin Avenue just got an update from medic that one patient was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. We also have this accident from a little while ago, Central Avenue at Norland Road, a crash in the intersection. This is causing a bit of a medium backup. Central Avenue at Kilbourne, that's in East Charlotte this morning. And then you can just see all the congestion around our area. So traffic picking up not just on I-77 coming from South Carolina in South Charlotte, but also on I-85 northbound. So far, no accidents on I-85 northbound in Gastonia. So this morning, that is good, but just be aware that is busy out there from people commuting, traveling, so just drive safely.
Destiny, thanks. Back to that breaking news right now. CMPD is investigating an officer-involved shooting in southeast Charlotte.
Our Richard Devane has been at that scene all morning getting new information. It's still an active scene. I know you got some information earlier from the deputy chief.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Deputy Chief Ryan Butler says that basically this shows just how dangerous it is when officers are just doing routine checks on situations. There was a call made, a 911 call about someone acting erratically. A family member had called. police were shot at as they arrived on the scene. I'll step out of the way. You can still see an active scene, not as many cars as that we saw earlier this morning. This is in the 800 block of Pine Borough right here in Southeast Charlotte, a residential neighborhood, as you can see. Normally quiet is what some folks have told me, but basically police say they got a call about a man who was in his 20s who was acting erratically, and he might have had a weapon. And that's the information they had as they drove to this address to check it out. And let's let the deputy chief take over from there and tell you what happened. Take a listen.
As the officers arrived on scene and pulled up behind the subject's vehicle, that subject immediately began firing at the officers. The officers returned fire, striking the subject. Officers then immediately transitioned into providing medical aid and CPR until Charlotte Fire and medic arrived on the scene to continue medical aid. That subject has been transported to a local trauma center where they're currently being treated. The officers were also transported from the scene for medical evaluation. There's no indication at this time that any of the officers are injured. As is our protocol in an investigation like this, the State Bureau of Investigation will be the lead agency for the officer-involved shooting investigation. So we're providing full cooperation with our homicide detectives and our crime scene search.
Yeah, and that's just for the manpower, just to make sure that they get all of this evidence that they can to make sure that the SBI can do its investigation. As you can see right now, people are beginning to wake up, some of them probably not even knowing what happened. We'll be trying to talk to some of them and get back to you on what they say. In addition, we'll be trying to find out the condition of that suspect who is now taken to a trauma center. Usually that's Atrium Health here in Charlotte, the #1 trauma center, level 1, I should say, trauma center here in this area. Of course, as we get more information throughout the morning, we'll bring it to you both here and all of our platforms. Just get that, make sure you have that mobile app for constant updates. Right now, we're in Southeast Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we will send it back to you.
Richard, looking at the map here, I know this is right in between Monroe Road and Independence. Give us a lay of the land for the scene there. I mean, I assume folks need to avoid that area of Pine Borough. Any other streets around that area that might be used as cut-throughs for folks on their morning commute?
Yeah, this road isn't a particular cut through. This is off of Wallace Road. That's the main road that is right off of Independence, and that leads to this Pine Borough address. Right now, that's the straight up that street here. So this is not a major cut through, but people can, of course, access Wallace Road to get to where they're going. This is off of Independence, so it won't provide any backups because of that in this area. There won't be any backups because of this incident right here. And as we've been told by police, they say they should be cleaning up a little bit sooner as we're watching more people come out this morning. The people who will probably have the issue are the people who live on this street. Of course, as we speak, we'll try to speak to some of them and ask them if anyone heard or saw anything. And of course, at that home where those folks were who made that 911 call. But this should not be a major issue for folks in this area making the morning commute down either Monroe or down Independence. You shouldn't have any problem unless, of course, you're trying to get off of this particular street.
Looks like as we speak, a truck actually trying to get from that scene now. All right, Richard Devane, thanks so much for that update. And keep it right here. We are back in just 2 minutes with the latest on that deadly mass shooting in Minnesota. 7:13 now. A live look at the White House this morning, where flags are flying at half-staff to honor the victims of yesterday's church shooting in Minnesota. 2 children were killed, 17 others injured, 14 of them children as well. That shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials say a shotgun, pistol, and the rifle used in the attack were found at the scene. They're also investigating a manifesto that included some disturbing writings. One 10-year-old who was inside the church praying described the moments the shots rang out.
The shots were like right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew. And then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
Police say the shooter acted alone and had no prior criminal history. NBC's Alice Barr has the reaction from the community.
In a moment of unspeakable tragedy for a school community, a city, and the nation, Minneapolis leaders demanding more than words.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
The shooter's bullets blasted through stained glass windows at Annunciation Catholic School, killed an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, injured 17 others, and reignited the country's long simmering debate over gun safety.
We can't just say that this shouldn't happen again and then allow it to happen again and again beyond that.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar pressing for a renewed assault weapons ban.
It's got to be nationally on these assault weapons, and that is the first thing. They're for the military. They should be for the police. They are not for madmen like this person.
President Trump saying he's been fully briefed and that the FBI responded quickly. He ordered flags to fly at half-staff and offered his support and condolences in a phone call with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The president has so far opposed gun control measures, saying this in April after 2 people were killed in a shooting at Florida State University.
I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it. And these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting, the people do.
The president often putting the focus on mental health as pressing questions remain about the Minneapolis shooter who posted hate-filled messages before firing the fatal shots and taking their own life and the community's light. Investigators say the suspected killer had no prior criminal history and recently legally purchased the pistol, rifle, and shotgun used in the shooting. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The Charlotte Diocese issuing a response to the shooting, reassuring families that safety is a priority at its Catholic schools. Bishop Michael Martin says the diocese is stunned by the news and writes, quote, "Let us stand in solidarity with the victims and their families, renounce violence in every form, and uphold the sacredness of life in every space where people, especially children and the most vulnerable, should live in safety and freedom."
We're also getting reaction from local school districts. CMS sent an email to parents saying in part it expresses condolences for those impacted by the shooting and reminds parents that each school has emergency and safety operations that are developed with help from local law enforcement. The district also says it regularly practices and reviews those plans and that resource officers are trained for emergencies. And I will say, we know this is the first week for students back at CMS, and part of what they do, I had a conversation with my daughter just yesterday, is they talk about safety plans if in fact there is an active shooter.
And you heard that young boy in that soundbite just a few moments ago talk about just that, how he had practiced this before, which is entirely tragic on its own. Well, 7:17 right now on WCNC Plus, and another big story we're following this morning. Just days after Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook was fired, now the White House dealing with another controversial firing, this time the head of the CDC. Susan Monterez says she was pushed out by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for political reasons just a month into the job. Also, part of the fallout, 4 other officials, leaders there at the CDC, also resigning in what's being called a major shakeup. Public health experts worried that losing these leaders could hurt the country's ability to respond to disease outbreaks. Also worth noting, all this is happening right as we go into flu and cold season.
For sure, and people are starting to think about COVID and getting the vaccination, so a lot to consider there. Of course, we'll keep you updated with this as we get more information. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in 2 minutes with more on your weather and traffic on this Thursday.
7:20 right now on WCNC Plus. Take a look at this. Charlotte water crews working to clear up a wastewater leak in Plaza Midwood. Officials say the pipe failure near Medallion Drive caused over 1,800 gallons of wastewater to spill into Briar Creek yesterday. Crews using this incident to remind all of us, be careful of what we put down the sink or the toilet because it can cause these sort of backups and overflows.
All right, let's check in with Chris now to find out more about our forecast for this Thursday. It is feeling like fall, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, we need to have a big list of all the great adjectives for today. And favorite one, and I don't think we can top it, invigorating, brought to us by Ben Thompson. 64 degrees is what we have under this mostly cloudy sky, but if you look off in the distance, we are downtown here in Monroe, you are seeing a brightness to the sky. So this isn't a complete overcast day. It's just at times it's going to be cloudy, and other times we're going to have a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. High temperatures today reaching right around 80 degrees. Just with the changing sky on the cloudier side. But this is one of my favorite features of today. Now, this might interest me more than you, but oftentimes you can have more of a moon during the day compared to the overnight, because the moon is going to rise and set much like the sun, but it's always fluctuating, and it usually changes and gets further and further by about a half hour to an hour deeper into the day. Well, yesterday it rose at about 11. Well, today it's rising right around noon, so that means it's going to be at its highest point right around 5 o'clock. Yesterday, if you're out and about, you might have seen it heading into the early evening, a gorgeous crescent moon right along the horizon. So it's going to be at a highest point at 5 o'clock, sets at 10 o'clock. So just letting you know if you are on an evening walk, because it's going to feel so great. You're going to see a beautiful waxing crescent moon to end the day. So sorry about this. We're looking at temperatures right around the mid 80s overall. Should have had that cracker earlier on. All right, I'm going to wrap. Designate, I got to go get a drink of water. I'm going to get over to traffic. Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem. So yeah, this morning it's definitely getting a lot busier out there. This is I-77 northbound at Nations Ford Road. At one point it was stop and go traffic here. It's starting to move a little more now, so that's good news. But we do still have an accident on the map that was causing that backup. Not sure if it's cleared right now. It's not showing that it's cleared, but hopefully this traffic jam starts to ease up soon. This is what we're seeing across the map this morning. I-85 northbound, no crashes there, but still the usual backup we see this time of the morning. But definitely a lot on I-77 northbound going into the Charlotte area, and then I-485 out near Matthews. So this morning, looking a little bit closer, this is where that pedestrian accident is reported, Nations Ford Road at I-77. Been causing backups really just all along here, at least within the last hour. Hopefully we can get an update on that soon. Another pedestrian accident though, north of Uptown, one patient with serious injuries. That's North Grand Street at Franklin Avenue. Still following a couple other things during this busy time of the morning. That's coming up later.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's August 28th, and on this day in history, the year was 1963. A monumental event took place in Washington, the I Have a Dream speech from Dr. Martin Luther King. That was a speech that was given before more than 250,000 people at the Lincoln Memorial. You can see the multitude of people who were there that day. Dr. Martin Luther King and the I Have a Dream speech on this day, the year was 1963. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Larry, thanks. UNC Charlotte getting some major upgrades at Jerry Richardson Stadium. A new tower will be part of the stadium and make it a year-round facility. Beyond football, it's going to host community events, provide dining for student athletes, and support new programs like women's lacrosse. Take a look. This is some of the renderings here. Very nice. Premium seating will also expand with many options for everybody at the stadium.
Will offer our student athletes the world-class facilities they deserve. It will welcome more fans, more alumni, and more future Niners than ever before. And it will create opportunities for our city, allowing us to host concerts and cultural events, international competitions, even bowl games.
The $70 million project is expected to be finished in 2027.
We're going to take a quick break, but make sure you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Another update on weather and traffic, as well as the day's top headlines at 7:30.
Well, good morning. 62 degrees right now for you in Hickory, 64 right around the Charlotte area, and we are seeing a little brightness across our skies. Today is all in all going to be a partly sunny to a mostly cloudy one. It will be overcast at times. Just kind of keep that in mind. Just not as sunny as yesterday, but still a brilliant 62 degrees overnight tonight, high of 81 today. And tomorrow is the warmest day that we have over the next 7, 86 degrees for temperatures. Get a little bit cooler heading through your Labor Day weekend. We're expecting a high of 84 with our rain chances returning for your Saturday. Really after 2, you have a chance for an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm, especially in South Carolina. And then we do that again for your Sunday as well. After that, lower 80s drying out Tuesday and Wednesday. Should be much warmer though heading into the first weekend of September. Destiny, what's going on for your morning commute?
Yeah, it is a busy time of the morning out there all across our interstates. I-85 northbound, I-77 especially northbound going into Charlotte, I-45 and just kind of the surrounding Charlotte area, no matter where you're going. This morning, we're following a couple of pedestrian accidents. Nations Ford Road at I-77 has been causing those huge backups on I-77. Another one north of Uptown, North Graham Street at Franklin Avenue, one patient there. And then we're also following a new crash on Providence Road at I-45. We'll talk about a lot more over on WCNC Plus.
You are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. North Carolina lawmakers back in Raleigh this week facing tough questions about how to spend your taxpayer dollars. Here in Charlotte, schools and universities say they can't afford to wait. They're already making painful choices about budgets.
WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard explains how money troubles are affecting classrooms and universities.
Every new school year comes with high hopes and heavy costs, but this year many educators say they're doing more with less.
On the surface, it looks like a normal school day. Students finding their seats and teachers getting lessons started. But behind the scenes, a different lesson is unfolding. One about money and what happens when there's not enough. At UNC Charlotte, leaders are making cuts of their own. We received an email saying they're making reductions to their research grant programs. They also received a freeze on non-essential jobs, eliminated vacant positions, and eliminated mobile communication device allowance for employees.
Just a lot of uncertainty.
Money troubles don't just linger in higher education, but also stretches down to K through 12 too. CMS spoke about the issue last week.
This will be a very tough budget year. We typically don't start budget conversations internally until probably November or so, but we've started already. with our internal processes, looking at every single dollar, always trying to think like, how can we do things differently? How can we be more innovative? How can we be more effective and efficient and make our dollars go further?
Now, eyes are gazing in on lawmakers with hopes to have the right tools and resources to ensure every student succeeds. Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
This morning, every public school in South Carolina is on track to have an armed resource officer on campus. Governor McMaster announced the state has secured money to fund nearly 1,300 full-time armed officers. Now, back in 2018, the schools only had about 400 of those across the state.
A trained, certified, law enforcement armed officer in that school. Not a retired police officer, not a retired military person, someone who is trained in school safety.
As of today, just 177 schools are still without coverage, and officials say they're now filling about 58 of those.
All right, let's check back in with Chris now to find out more about our forecast today. Again, temperatures starting off quite comfortable this Thursday.
Very comfortable. It's going to be a comfortable afternoon as well. And we had to go way up on top of Beach Mountain to even see a little bit of sunshine. So still seeing some blue sky off in the distance there. Meanwhile, if you go the opposite direction over in Louisville, over here in Anson County, overall, it's a mostly cloudy to an overcast day. And then overlooking the Queen City, some pretty cloudy skies there. So this is, I think, the worst case scenario for today. It's cloudy, but you're still going to see some spots of blue sky on and off throughout the day. High temperatures in the lower 80s. Not too bad, but as we've been mentioning, it feels great so far. Current temperatures right now, 59 degrees for you around Lincoln, 61 in Gastonia. Still holding true to about 64 degrees around Charlotte, 59 in Chirac. Our high temperatures for the mountains, upper 60s to around 70 degrees. As you see, Jefferson, Boone, Fleetwood all sharing the high of 70. 80 degrees right around Morganton. Morganton is usually a little bit warmer than surrounding areas. Maiden, you're at 80 degrees as well. Lower 80s through Concord, down along the I-85 corridor heading into Cleveland County, and then the warm spot on the map, 83 degrees over in Chesterfield. But as I mentioned, it's a mostly cloudy day overall, but at times will be partly cloudy to partly sunny, and other times will be completely cloudy, as many of us are seeing right now. 62 degrees. That is still very chilly for this time of year, only by about 5 degrees. The record low for this day in climatology is the 50s for Charlotte, mid-50s, and that's exactly where you're going to be in Hickory, and 48 degrees again tomorrow morning. And outside of that, it's really either side of 60 heading into next week for our lows. So certainly trending to a little more fall-like lows compared to what we would have to finish the month of August. By tomorrow, this is pretty much my pick of the week, round 2. I called this yesterday and earlier today, my honorable mention. The only reason why tomorrow didn't get chosen over yesterday is because of the humidity. It is going to feel a little bit stickier by tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid-80s, so it'll be warmer, but we should see plenty of sunshine just as we saw for your Wednesday. Our rain chances still taking a break. Today and tomorrow, don't worry about rain. Now, you could have a darker cloud from time to time, but that's it for today. And then isolated showers and storms possible all 3 days for your holiday weekend. Less likely, though, on Monday and going forward. So for our Labor Day weekend, we have the mid-80s, a little bit more unstable air mass on Saturday. After 2 o'clock, we pop up a shower or a storm. So here's our futurecast. Futurecast is picking up on a little bit of green. Don't worry about it. That's not picking up on light rain. That's just the darker cloud that I was talking about. So up above our heads by about a half mile to a mile, there could be some rain, but it's just not going to reach the surface. Tomorrow, don't worry about it. You're looking at plenty of sunshine, mostly sunny to sunny skies. Here's what Saturday looks like. Now, this is as far as we can go out for at least our detailed futurecast. Saturday, we're dry through the morning, but then once you get to about 2 o'clock, 2 to 4, we're popping up a few isolated guys. Better chance for rain and storms right along the Tennessee border to end the afternoon, but especially the further south you go. South of I-85 could have some isolated storms, and it becomes a little bit more scattered and widespread for the mountains and the foothills through the overnight. So we could have some morning rain on Sunday, a cloudier start for some of us, and then we're also dealing with another thunderstorm chance. And then the long range outlook, here's Sunday during the afternoon. This is trending much further south, and notice how it clears out for Monday, so I might be removing our rain chances for your Labor Day. Just a mix of cloud and sunshine, and could be cloudy at times. So our 7-day forecast, 86 degrees. Tomorrow is the warmest day that we have over the next 7, and then we're pretty much hovering right around 80 degrees to end the weekend and heading into next week. Now, looking at days 8, 9, and 10, you don't see it here. We are expecting a return to where we should be, the mid to the upper 80s heading into the first weekend of September. That's your weather report here on WCNC Plus. Let's get right over to Destiny, see how our morning commute is changing.
Yeah, it is not changing much. We're still dealing with a lot of congestion this morning. I switched cameras over to go further south to I-77 northbound at Carowinds, because this is where we're seeing a good look at the backups that are still existing right now from a pedestrian crash on I-77 northbound. So stop and go traffic at times in this area, just a heads up. This has just been lingering around for the past hour. Just a lot of congestion across the map on all of our interstates in some areas. So this morning, this is where the pedestrian accident is reported, Nations Ford Road at I-77, so a little bit further north. Heads up if you're coming into the Charlotte area from Rock Hill, Fort Mill, things like that. This morning we have this pedestrian accident, North Graham Street at Franklin Avenue, north of Uptown. One patient with serious injuries with that. And then this is fairly new, a crash in the center right lane on inbound Providence at I-485. This morning, that's causing some issues. You can see police on the scene there. Since it is inbound, it's going to affect folks headed to I-485. So just be aware of that if you are in the South Charlotte Providence area. We also have the right lane blocked over here in East Charlotte, Eastway Drive North after Shamrock Drive, more specifically East Sugar Creek Road. That's starting to cause a backup in both directions north of Shamrock there. So just a heads up. It has been a busy morning. Here are your AM drive times into the Charlotte area. Still heavy from Gastonia and Matthews this morning.
Destiny, thanks. 7:38 now. Tonight, Charlotte leaders are giving an update on their transit plan. At the heart of that plan is a proposed 1-cent countywide sales tax referendum. Now, if it's approved, it is expected to generate more than $25 billion over the next 30 years. That money would fund everything from roads to buses, microtransit, and even new rail lines. The meeting is going to be online tonight at 6. We'll be covering it on air and, of course, right here on WCNC Plus.
Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're back after this with boating safety tips just in time for Labor Day weekend.
7:41 now. You're taking a live look at Lake Norman. You see Freedom Boat Club there. Another beautiful morning on this Thursday. We're going to check in with Chris momentarily. But speaking of the lake and boating, many of you may be planning to head out on the water this Labor Day weekend. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources is urging people to stay safe on the lakes. They also want you to be patient with other boaters as there will be more traffic during the holiday weekend.
Just like any other holiday weekend out here, there's going to be increased traffic on the water. And unlike the roadways where we have lines that are painted, stop signs, traffic lights, all these traffic control devices, you don't have that on the waterway. And that goes back to what I was saying, people need to slow down, be patient with other boaters, and have a good time.
Officials also urge you to check your boating safety equipment and have your registration on hand before heading into the water.
If you're cooking out for the holiday weekend, you'll probably notice the price of beef is way up. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the price has been steadily increasing over the past year. Now it's at record levels. Farmers say the increase is mainly due to just simple supply and demand.
We are in the middle of a classic cattle cycle in the United States, which happens every so often. We are at the lowest cattle inventory in the country by some metrics, the lowest since 1950.
Last year today we were buying heifers for $2.30 a pound and steers for $2.60 a pound, and today they have costed like $3.30 to $4 on some of these steers, and these heifers are still rising. Great time for the American farmer. He can actually pay some of his land and some of his equipment cost and operating costs compared to previous years where you're just kind of floating by.
Researchers say ground beef and steaks are 12% more expensive compared to 2024.
Well, this morning, many people asking where's the money at the grocery store. A recent poll from the Associated Press shows 53% of people reported grocery costs are a major stress.
That's why WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg is here with ways to get the most bang for your buck.
Eating healthy while on a budget can seem impossible. The registered dietitian Julia Zampano with the Cleveland Clinic says there are ways to save by shifting your focus to whole foods instead of snacks and drinks.
Make a grocery list. Check for sales and any discounts or coupons. Those are also great.
Zampano says buying in bulk can also save money. So can avoiding what she calls convenience foods, like pre-washed vegetables, pre-marinated meats, and fruits that already have been cut.
If you're able to do some of that legwork on your own, you can save cost there too.
Other ways to help: buy frozen fruit and vegetables, fresh produce that's in season, and meats that are on sale, and freeze them to save for later. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
Megan, I'm disappointed. I hope you're watching, because Megan actually gave me probably the best tip that she did not include there.
What did she say?
Megan sometimes fills in for each of us when
yes.
we're not here, and so I would catch up with her. And she says she goes to ChatGPT and says, give me a list of things that I can get at the grocery store for under $75 that's expensive, that will feed me for 7 days. And ChatGPT will come up with a detailed list of everything you can get within that requirement that's also healthy and feeds you for like 3 meals every single day. And I'm like, wow.
You know what? I've actually made a list from ChatGPT, but here's the exception. Little kids who
Sure.
like snacks, and those snacks are so expensive.
Yeah,
That's the
snacks.
thing. Like, you can try your best, but you got to really be mindful.
Because sometimes the kids don't want the healthy stuff.
Don't. And
Still.
goldfish.
My mind was blown when I was like, wow, that's a great use.
You don't use that to make your grocery list?
ChatGPT, no.
Oh, I
do it for other things, but
Okay.
anyway.
All right. Well, there's a tip for you. We're coming back in 2 minutes with your holiday forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. So comparing the low this morning, 64 degrees, our low around Charlotte, starting to warm up now. 55 is the record low, the normal low 67. Over the last couple of mornings, it's actually been a little bit close to the record compared to where we should be in the upper 60s. So just letting you know things are getting a little bit back to normal. But we're singing in the 80s over the next few days. This is our Spotify theme forecast. Endless love for how great it feels for today, even though it is going to be on the cloudier side. Friday showing its true colors, and you may be asking, what's love got to do with it? 84 degrees for your Saturday. But I still think you're going to love this weekend. Now, there is this chance for rain on and off throughout it, but all in all, nothing really major that is going to be ruining your weekend. August has been all over the place, as we know. It was one of the coolest starts, or the coolest first week of August we've had in Charlotte history, in the top 5. And we don't have any astronomical figures as far as a record-breaking cold August, because we did get our act together in the middle of the month where we had a string of 90s, where we hit 6 90-degree days. I still think that's interesting because that's actually the least 90-degree days we've had in August over the last 20 years. And it's very rare that we have as many 70 days as 90-degree days. Well, just off by 1. And speaking of, somebody asked me recently, when do we typically have our last 90-degree day in Charlotte? So to that person, here's the answer to your question. The latest 90-degree day that we've ever had in Charlotte history was 1954. That was October 13th. And coincidentally, or maybe not, well, there's actually been the most 90-degree days, which is over 80. I think it was 88 total. That was in 1954, the most active 90-degree stretch. On average, though, and that's over 146 years of record keeping, September 12th is usually the last one. And if you look at the last 5 years, well, that does verify. September 22nd, the last day of summer or the first day of fall. 2024, it was the 7th in 2023, the 22nd again in 2022, and then pretty much in between that range in 2021 and 2020. So the short answer to that question, September 12th is typically when you do it, or at least by week number 2 of September. Now, our high temperatures going forward into September, nowhere close to 90. Now, close enough technically. 86 degrees yet again by the next Thursday part of the forecast before we start to cool down. But it's this time of year that we're really going to be ranging the lower to the mid 80s primarily. A few spikes to the mid to the upper 80s, but we're going to get further and further from that 90-degree point. Now, in the near term, doesn't look like we're going to hit it. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it later on. I remember 2019, we had 6 days in a row that were 98 and 99 to end September and begin October. It was oppressively hot. That was a record stretch. So it could happen again. It's just not going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Now, our low temperatures are also trending below normal, down to about 59 degrees on Tuesday. That's the coolest morning, down to about 60. That means we're going to have a nice little dry stretch. By the way, the lower the temperatures, the drier it feels. And then we're back to the mid 60s, feeling a little bit more humid. So it's a lot of ups and downs for our highs and our lows. As far as our precipitation chances, fairly low. We don't have any big spikes to numerous showers yet. Now, that'll change if we get any tropical systems, and the nearest one that we're even investigating, or the National Hurricane Center is looking at, is just off the African and Ivory Coast. So it's still a couple weeks out before we're even talking about it here in the United States, unless something else pops up. But in the near term, just a chance for an isolated shower storm for your Saturday and Sunday, and our rain chances getting lower and lower for your Labor Day, which is all in all good news. Dry by the middle of next week. Let's go to Destiny. How's everything looking?
Well, things are looking still very busy this morning. I wanted to do a quick top of the morning, or top of 750 reminder, I guess, about Labor Day travel. One of the most dangerous holiday weekends. Make sure that you are extremely safe out there. It has been a busy morning though. I-77 northbound near Carowinds. Lots of backups here really the entire hour because of a pedestrian accident. Some of it is the usual morning commute, but there was a pedestrian accident reported around 7 o'clock this morning on Nations Ford Road at I-77. So these backups are extending all the way into South Carolina, all the way into the Charlotte area. The icon just disappeared, so it's possible that this has cleared. I'll check on it. But we have another pedestrian accident. This icon also cleared. Oh, this is good news. Obviously not good news though, because of these pedestrian accidents. Patients taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and it's likely CMPD has been working the scene all morning. Crash in the center lane on inbound Providence at I-485. This is from a little bit earlier when that crash was first reported, still causing problems on Providence Road here. So this is inbound to I-485. I-485 itself doesn't look that bad, but all of the roads trying to get onto I-485 a little bit heavy there. This is also a new crash in the left lane northbound Eastway Drive after Shamrock Drive. This is also a recent crash this morning, right lane blocked in that area of East Charlotte.
The Matthews Alive Festival kicks off tomorrow. Several roads are going to be closed. Take a look. It's a 4-day event starting Friday morning, 9 a.m. South Trade Street is going to be closed from East John to McDowell. Then 5 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to extend to Main Street. All those roads are going to reopen Monday night at 11:30.
For those of you who use Spotify, you'll soon be able to DM your friends through the app.
A new feature is going to let you share favorite songs, podcasts, audiobook recommendations inside the app. Both free and premium accounts will have access to the feature, and only users ages 16 and older will be able to use it. Spotify says the new feature will begin this next week.
Now, some people have already posted online asking why this feature was even created. For the sake of fun, though, we came up with some messages that we'd send. First, we're going to start with mine, and I would just say hello, as in from Adele.
That would be appropriate, I think. And then mine was going to be the WCNC Charlotte to Go podcast, which I highly recommend to anybody out there.
Yes.
Must listen content there. And then we have to sort of issue an apology to Chris Mulcahy this morning, because when we did this story at 6 a.m. over on the broadcast, we asked his opinion. And what you hear in the upcoming clip is a bit of judgment from,
just a little.
from Lisa and I. Take a listen. But neither of us actually have Spotify.
No, we don't.
So
Chris?
don't worry.
I don't either, and I've been questioning if I want to say this, but I'm just letting you know the name's questionable, but the soundtrack for K-pop Demon Hunters is a jam.
Okay, my 12-year-old.
I knew this was going to be the reaction. That's why I didn't want to say
loves
it.
that. I wasn't expecting that from you.
Yeah,
but
it was from JT asked to watch it. I was like, the music is awesome. It's actually 3 songs on the top 5 Billboard charts.
I mean, Chris Mulcahy with his finger on the pulse. So in the commercial break after that, Lisa and I realized that we actually love the song.
we actually do know the song.
And we didn't realize we knew the song, but it made impression on me enough to where at 4:06 this morning, I took a photo of the song on the radio thinking, that's really good. And then when I zoom in, the name of it is K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Oops.
Yeah, Golden is jam.
Egg
Number 1
on my
Billboard right
face.
now.
I mean, I was going to skip it, and my kids were like, no, we have to hit. And I was like, oh, yeah, and it's that song.
We didn't give you credit for being
So-
as hip as you are.
Our apologies.
Hey, I initially judged the book by its cover, but then right now 3 of the top 5. The last time a movie soundtrack made the multiple top 10s, Saturday Night Fever, 1978.
Whoa.
At least that one song, Golden, that's the name of it. It's a
Oh.
great song. It really is.
It's good.
Apologies.
All right, we got to take a break. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
Well, good morning, everybody. So check it out. It's a cloudy day overall, and there will be some times that we are dealing with a little bit of sunshine, some blue skies, but don't be disappointed that this is how much of the day is going to look. So I think you will see some areas of blue on and off throughout the afternoon, but focusing in on the main fact, It is a great feeling day. We are still absent of that August mugginess, and it will come back by your Sunday and slowly increasing over the next few days, but enjoy it while we have it. 81 degrees, even though it will be partly sunny to overcast, just a changing sky, it feels great. By tomorrow, we have the sunshine back, temperatures back in the mid 80s, but it will feel a little bit sticky, and then through the weekend, we start to ramp up our rain chances once again. So all in all, for your day planner, enjoy your August 28th, lower 80s, very similar highs to yesterday, just less sun. Let's get over to Destiny Richard with our morning commute.
Yeah, the morning commute is definitely busy right now. Whether you're commuting to work or you're getting started on Labor Day travel, definitely be careful out there, drive safely. We're seeing a lot of backups mainly on I-77 northbound because of a pedestrian crash this morning. We're continually tracking that, but here's some of the most recent crashes. Center lane at inbound Providence at I-485. If you're in the South Charlotte area going to I-485, just be aware that this is going to impact your access to the interstate there. The center lane is just blocked, but as you can see, police on scene. Northbound Eastway Drive after Shamrock Drive, crash in the left lane there.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We have been following breaking news all morning. CMPD investigating an officer-involved shooting in southeast Charlotte.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live from the scene. He's been there all morning. So, Richard, for the folks just waking up with us, bring us up to speed. What do we know?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, Ben. Good morning to you. Good morning, Lisa. Good Thursday morning. Some of the neighbors we spoke to already said they did not hear this. One lady I just spoke to a few moments ago said she actually slept through it. She only woke up and saw the police cars and us, of course, and that's how she found out what was going on. But let me step out of the way, let you see there's still pretty much an active scene here that's been going on. People have been getting up, leaving. We spoke to several of them. They say they didn't know anything. One person did say that they saw the police out late last night. As far as people hearing the incident, people haven't said they've heard anything. Now, let's tell you what we heard from police. This is an officer-involved shooting right now. We know the SBI is still on the scene along with CMPD officers. You see them around that car. That's the car that they say that person was in, that they got a 911 call about someone acting erratically who may have a gun. When officers pulled up on the scene, well, we'll let the Deputy Chief, Ryan Butler, tell you what happened next. Take a listen.
As the officers arrived on scene and pulled up behind the subject's vehicle, that subject immediately began firing at the officers. The officers returned fire, striking the subject. Officers then immediately transitioned into providing medical aid and CPR until Charlotte Fire and medic arrived on the scene to continue medical aid That subject has been transported to a local trauma center where they're currently being treated. The officers were also transported from the scene for medical evaluation. There's no indication at this time that any of the officers are injured. As is our protocol in an investigation like this, the State Bureau of Investigation will be the lead agency for the officer-involved shooting investigation. So we're providing full cooperation with our homicide detectives and our crime scene search.
And again, the SBI has taken the lead. The SBI has taken the lead in this, which is a standard procedure whenever officers have to have the use of what's called deadly use of force. But we don't know the condition of that person who was taken to the hospital. Once we get that information and more, once we speak to some more residents and of course get another update from police, we'll give you that information as soon as we get it, both here and of course in our mobile app. But right now, that's the scene right here in Southeast Charlotte. It's Richard Devane. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for that report. Of course, as he gets more information, we will share it here with you.
Thanks.
Let's check back in with Chris now to get an update on our forecast for this Thursday.
It's a little bit cloudier today, but the word of the day today, invigorating. It feels amazing out there, and that word was deemed by Ben Thompson. It's a perfect way to describe today. It's not even crisp, just feels amazing, invigorating, a great day. And then another weather word is overcast, mostly cloudy. And at times, I think it will be partly sunny. That means that you're seeing about a 60% cloud cover, some spots of blue, and a little bit of pink off in the distance. But all in all, those clouds are definitely winning out today. 64 degrees right now still. Temperatures not moving much because of the cloud cover. We don't have that sunshine to immediately rocket those temperatures up. And then we will get into the lower 80s today, so a little subdued. And I want to give a shout out to our dog of the day. This is Oliver. How you doing, Oliver? So, oh, there it is, this music. Get pumped, everybody. Brought to us by Caitlin Miller. So I do this every single day over on WCNC Charlotte, and I have to feature this special doggy and some fun facts about Oliver. Oliver actually has 2 different color eyes. That's right. So Oliver, a gorgeous pup here. Let me pull up some of the other stats that I just got from Caitlin. So Caitlin also mentions, where are they at? Okay, there it is. A rescue from the Charlotte Humane Society, and loves going to the beach, and a very goofy personality. My Pity is very goofy as well. Great for walking the dog and great for wearing your neckerchief. Temperatures are going to be ranging through the 60s and the lower 70s, eventually getting close to 80 degrees by the middle of the afternoon. A little bit more moisture in the air compared to what we had yesterday, but not too bad. So goodbye, Oliver. Great to have you, and let's move on. Thanks a lot for the uptick in the music. I appreciate it. Always a good way to ramp up for our Dog of the Day forecast. High temperatures today, 81. Yesterday we were at 82. So believe it or not, we're still getting to a similar temperature to what we had yesterday, even though we're lacking the sunshine like we had yesterday. The main reason why is we're shifting the winds out of a warmer direction, and then the secondary reason is that we're starting off a little bit warmer, so that definitely helps. Yesterday we had a low of 60 degrees, so about a 4-degree upgrade. Evening out forecast is going to be delightful, so keeping that invigorating description around. And then we also have a 76 real feel to an actual air temperature of 77. That proves that we really have that drier air in place, and you will see some clearer skies, so you'll be able to see a beautiful crescent moon setting around the horizon by about 10 o'clock. So the moon is actually more seen during the day compared to the night tonight. And 62 degrees is going to be the low when the sun's rising up tomorrow. Official sunrise time tomorrow, by the way, is 6:54. Hourly forecast for tomorrow? Well, pick of the week, round 2. I call this the honorable mention, and the only reason why I gave the edge to yesterday is because it actually felt better. Tomorrow's going to start to feel a little bit sticky, and then that's really going to be the change about the real feel. And our Labor Day forecast will start to feel humid again. And what does that lead to? Another chance for isolated storms. So that's what we have for the 30%. I was saying earlier that, hey, I think I might move to a dry status or just a spotty chance for rain on Monday. I've officially done that. I really don't think that we see rain. Now, that could change, but things keep on trending down. So that's why if you look at our rain chances, we only have the isolated to scattered chances Saturday night, and Sunday. Now just spotty, meaning less than 10% of us see a rain shower Monday through Wednesday. Looking at today, sometimes you have to take a little deeper look into meteorology if you're looking at a futurecast, because if you look at the surface, I'm seeing a little bit of rain around 5 o'clock today. Now, it's way too dry, so that means that anything above our heads could lead to a darker cloud, but it's not going to precipitate down to the surface. By tomorrow, we don't have to worry about any green blips here because it's super dry and super sunny, and that's going to allow for an absolutely gorgeous day. Now, this changes by Saturday. Saturday, we do have the moisture to get a rain to work down to the surface and even a storm to pop up as early as 2 o'clock. This primarily happens in South Carolina, nothing super widespread, so this is going to stick around heading into the afternoon. These are the type of storms that are very slow moving. They have to move in their own fruition. They literally have to tire themselves out before they form a new one nearby. So I think maximum you see rain for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. As of right now, another one could pass, but the duration shouldn't be super long. Now, the only exception to this rule is during your Saturday evening, we're seeing a nebulous of rain that just twists and bends here around the mountains and foothills. This will eventually get out of here by your Sunday morning to the afternoon, and that leads us to a much drier forecast for your Monday and beyond. So for our 7-day forecast, this does not feel like the end of August and the entryway into September. As you look at the upper right corners, 87 should be our average high, 67 should be our average low, or we're below that each and every day. The only exception is 86 degrees is close enough by tomorrow, and that's the warmest day over the next 7. Other than that, mainly in the lower 80s. Let's get over to Destiny for our morning commute. Not too bad so far?
Not too bad. We're seeing some crashes disappear, but we do see some that are showing up as we enter into the 8 o'clock hour. So this morning, we're seeing a lot of congestion, still a lot on I-77, now northbound and southbound, just in the South Charlotte area. And it's likely because of a pedestrian accident that we have been following for most of the morning. It's still being reported on the map, Nations Ford at I-77, but I wanted to get to some of those new crashes that are popping up this morning. Inbound Brookshire Boulevard after Lawton Road is a new crash this hour. This is in northwest Charlotte, in the Mount Holly, Huntersville area. Inbound Boulevard after Lawton Road, and the right lane is closed right after Lawton Road. So for folks heading into the Charlotte area from this northwest part of town, just a heads up there. Another new update here is that there was an accident in the center lane at Providence Road North at I-485. That's an example of a crash that has cleared this morning. But as you can see, just in the Providence area, we do have a lot of backups just on the roads nearby. This was all red and orange. Now it's a medium traffic impact. So that's an indication that this crash has cleared and traffic is moving, but probably still a little bit slowly in that area. Another crash inbound North Tryon Street at Rocky River Road. You can see fire crew on scene there, and they're crashed in those through lanes that are going straight ahead. So that's something to be aware of this morning. And then we're still following this crash, Eastway Drive northbound after Shamrock Drive. So a lot going on just across the map this morning.
8:09 right now on WCNC Plus. A jury will hear closing arguments today in a civil lawsuit against Cardi B, filed by a security guard who claims the rapper assaulted her. It happened back in 2018 in the hallway outside of Beverly Hills Medical Office. The guard, Amani Ellis, is suing for $24 million, alleging Cardi B scratched her with a nail extension. But on the stand yesterday, Cardi says they only exchanged heated words and nothing more.
I was more on a high level of concern, very concerned.
And why were you concerned?
Because I'm pregnant and this girl's about to beat my Hello?
Are you disabled? Yes or no?
At that moment, when you're pregnant, I'm very disabled. You want me to tell you the things I can't do?
Fine. What was your disability on February 24th of 2018? What was your disability?
I was pregnant. I couldn't protect myself, even if I wanted to. She's like twice my size.
No problem. You used the F word during that fight, didn't you?
Yes.
A receptionist told jurors that she saw Ellis corner Cardi B, and when she got in between them, the guard reached for the rapper. A doctor also testified he never saw Cardi hit Ellis.
This is going to be interesting. They're saying her nails, the 3-inch long nails, cut her on the cheek, and yeah.
Listen, I have a feeling that many a man out there has underestimated Cardi B. And
why?
Cardi, like, not only is she super smart and like a historian of like U.S. history, and we'll talk about presidents going back to Washington. But as you can see right there, handles herself quite well, even on the jury stand.
Oh, for sure. She was comfortable. She was recounting what happened. So yeah, this is one to watch.
It is. All right, we're back here in just 2 minutes on WCNC Plus.
Approaching 8:14 now. This is a live look from the White House. You can see the flags there at half-staff this morning. That's to remember those victims of yesterday's church shooting in Minnesota. 2 children were killed, an 8 and a 10-year-old. 17 others were injured. 14 of those were children. That shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials say a shotgun, pistol, and the rifle used in the attack were found at that scene. They're also investigating a manifesto that included some disturbing writings. One 10-year-old who was inside the church praying at the time described the moments shots rang out.
The shots were like right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew. And then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
Police say the shooter acted alone and had no prior criminal history. NBC's Alice Barr has more on the reaction from the community.
In a moment of unspeakable tragedy for a school community, a city, and the nation, Minneapolis leaders demanding more than words.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
The shooter's bullets blasted through stained glass windows at Annunciation Catholic School, killed an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, injured 17 others, and reignited the country's long simmering debate over gun safety.
We can't just say that this shouldn't happen again and then allow it to happen again and again beyond that.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar pressing for a renewed assault weapons ban.
It's got to be nationally on these assault weapons, and that is the first thing. They're for the military. They should be for the police. They are not for madmen like this person.
President Trump saying he's been fully briefed and that the FBI responded quickly. He ordered flags to fly at half-staff and offered his support and condolences in a phone call with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The president has so far opposed gun control measures, saying this in April after 2 people were killed in a shooting at Florida State University.
I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it, and these things are terrible. But The gun doesn't do the shooting, the people do.
The president often putting the focus on mental health as pressing questions remain about the Minneapolis shooter who posted hate-filled messages before firing the fatal shots and taking their own life and the community's light. Investigators say the suspected killer had no prior criminal history and recently legally purchased the pistol, rifle, and shotgun used in the shooting. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
I just want to say something. I've seen a lot online and on social media pushing back against the media interviewing that young boy, Weston, I believe his name was.
Yes.
And I want to push back against that only in that if the boy wanted to talk and if his parents wanted him to talk as well, who better to hear from at a time like that? And you heard just the compelling testimony about how his buddy, his friend there, protected him. And if he doesn't tell us that story, nobody's going to tell that story. And if his parents are okay with it, I think we need to hear
Absolutely. I mean,
from voices like that.
Because, as you said, who better to hear from? This is a 10-year-old child who was praying at the time, and he talked about having gunpowder on his neck.
And if that doesn't make change for it, I'm not sure anybody will, but I'm glad we're hearing from him, and I'm glad his parents allowed us to hear from it as well. In the meantime, Charlotte's diocese issued a response to the shooting, reassuring families that safety is a priority at its Catholic schools. Bishop Michael Martin says the diocese is stunned by the news and writes, quote, "Let us stand in solidarity with the victims and their families, renounce violence in every form, and uphold the sacredness of life in every space where people, especially children and the most vulnerable, should live in safety and in freedom."
Now, reactions are coming in from parents, schools, and local leaders from all over the area. In the York district, one is emphasizing the safety protocols the district already has in place. The district uses the protocol that's used by districts across the country. It involves 5 actions, including lockdowns.
All of our doors remain locked. Our interior and exterior doors remain locked. They're never to be propped open. We use weapon screening at our middle and high school. We go into a lockdown. Everything's locked. Obviously, the lights are out. Students and staff are trained to be silent and to be out of sight. And so that's something that we practice within the first 10 days of school.
And CMS released a statement, actually sent an email to parents letting them know that it has also adopted this same protocol. The Diocese of Charlotte Catholic Schools said in a statement, "We are reviewing the events in Minneapolis now to learn and identify any enhancements that could strengthen our own practices." I can tell you, when I got that email to the 140,000 other parents at CMS, you know, it's great to see that they've adopted this language. It's "I love you guys." Actually, they work with a national nonprofit, so the kids, it's very simple language, so kids know what to do. And kids have even had some training as early as this week. Their first week back, they've already had training about what to do in an active shooter situation.
The thing is, at this point, though, I mean, this is not Columbine anymore. You know, these schools have come up with safety plans. They have more safety measures. They have more security. They have, and it continues to happen.
Yes.
At some point, there's going to have to be more discussion about, okay, well, what happens when the safety measures don't work?
Right.
Because I feel like we're trying to do better, and schools are trying to do more, and it's still not enough. All right, we're back here in 2 minutes with another check of your weather impact forecast.
This might be aggressive. I know, what a way to start off a forecast, right? But some of us, are they under flannel weather? That's right. Temperatures down into the 50s and the upper 40s. Some of us might be busting out light flannel. Don't do it for the entirety of this morning and the afternoon. This is just on the cusp about how chilly it actually feels for this time of the year. This is a slight exaggeration, of course, because temperatures will quickly warm up through the 60s to 70s, eventually getting to around that 80-degree point. But hey, pumpkin spice still came out. Didn't matter if it was going to be 90 and 100 or the coolest day August has ever seen. Pumpkin spice could not be stopped. So if that's how you're starting off the day, maybe it is actually a cup of hot pumpkin spice latte, and then eventually you can go for the chill version as we're back to around 80 degrees. Plain and simple, the biggest thing about today, there's not a lot of sunshine to go around. I wish that it was sunnier, but honestly, at the same time, I really don't think it matters because it feels that great. Because of the dew points being that low, it's a really nice range for us overall. Real quick, I want to give you an update on the tropics. We've been talking about on and off tropical activity, and a lot of them have been failing, but usually whenever there's a wave that comes off the African coast, the Ivory Coast, it's one that we really have to watch. So it's still about 2 to 7 days away that we could have any sort of tropical development. But this area right in here, if something develops there, this is also another one that we have to watch. Moving off towards the west, it's definitely something that day 10 to 14 could be a factor. Of course, we're watching it, but nothing immediate in the near-term forecast. Let's get over to Destiny, see how our morning commute is looking to close out the first half hour of 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's definitely a busy morning. We've seen some crashes disappear, others reappear. It's really all over the place. But we're looking at I-85 southbound over in the Belmont area. This is near NC 273. And we do have a reported accident on the northbound side. It doesn't seem to be impacting traffic too badly from what we can see from this camera view. But just be aware this morning that there are some accidents happening on I-85 itself. So if we go in closer here, this is the most serious one that's causing backups. It's in the shoulder now, but 2 lanes were blocked. I-85 northbound at Cox Road, that's exit 21. You can see the backup here, even though it has now moved over into the shoulder. We also have the accident that's at I-85 north at NC 273, that's exit 27. Again, not seeing a whole lot of backups right here from this crash. And then over in Charlotte, we do have the shoulder blocked on I-85 southbound at North Graham Street this morning. We'll be right back after this break.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's a chillier morning. Temperature is still rocking the 60s, so whatever your beverage of choice is, definitely a little bit more fall-like. High's only around 80 degrees all in all, and it's going to be one of those days that the clouds are going to win out our skies, but still feels great. This is not a humid day, but it will get steadily more humid as we work our way into your holiday weekend. For tomorrow, it looks to be plenty of sunshine, 86 degrees, and then we will see an uptick as far as our rain chances go heading through the weekend. So especially Saturday and Sunday, you're going to have a better chance for a pop-up shower or a storm. For a 7-day forecast, you can see that heading into your Labor Day, I have now removed the rain chance. I think that we're going to be dry most of the day. Spotty shower might happen. I'm talking about one storm, and I think the highest chance for a storm given is on Saturday, and then after that, drying out the middle of next week as temperatures slowly start to climb back to where they should be this time of year. Destiny, what's going on for our morning commute?
Yeah, in the 8 o'clock hour, we have some new crashes along I-85 this morning. This is a look at I-85 southbound in the Belmont area near NC 273. It's actually on that side that we do have a crash, not that serious, near exit 27, but this is the most serious one causing backups right now. Shoulder block to I-85 northbound at Cox Road. And then here's that one in Belmont, I-85 north at exit 27. And then in the Charlotte area on the southbound side, I-85 south at North Graham Street, shoulder blocked there. We're over on WCNC Plus with all of the latest updates you need to know this morning.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. North Carolina lawmakers back in Raleigh this week facing some tough questions about how to spend your taxpayer money. Here in Charlotte, schools and universities say they can't afford to wait because they're already making painful choices about budgets.
WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard explains how money troubles are affecting classrooms.
Every new school year comes with high hopes and heavy costs, but this year many educators say they're doing more with less.
On the surface, it looks like a normal school day. Students finding their seats and teachers getting lessons started. But behind the scenes, a different lesson is unfolding. One about money and what happens when there's not enough. At UNC Charlotte, leaders are making cuts of their own. We received an email saying they're making reductions to their research grant programs. They also received a freeze on non-essential jobs, eliminated vacant positions, and eliminated mobile communication device allowance for employees.
Just a lot of uncertainty.
Money troubles don't just linger in higher education, but also stretches down to K through 12 too. CMS spoke about the issue last week.
This will be a very tough budget year. We typically don't start budget conversations internally until probably November or so, but we've started already with our internal processes, looking at every single dollar, always trying to think like, how can we do things differently? How can we be more innovative? How can we be more effective and efficient and make our dollars go further?
Now, eyes are gazing in on lawmakers with hopes to have the right tools and resources to ensure every student succeeds. Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
This morning, every public school in South Carolina is on track to have at least one armed resource officer on campus. Governor McMaster announcing the state has secured the money to fund nearly 1,300 full-time armed officers. For some context, back in 2018, there were only about 400 of them.
A trained, certified, law enforcement armed officer in that school. Not a retired police officer, not a retired military person, someone who is trained in school safety.
As of today, just 177 schools are still without coverage, with plans of filling 58 of those in the immediate future.
Well, today is not a bad day. It is August 28th, 81 degrees. All in all, it is going to be a cloudier day. We have partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies, and at times it will be overcast, as many of us are dealing with right now. But as you know, we like to have a national day for everything. So today's a great day to celebrate bow ties. I've never been able to tie one, so I won't be doing that one, but maybe you're a bow tie enthusiast. National Thoughtful Day, that's a really nice one, so be as thoughtful and kind as you can today. And this isn't just national, this is international Cabernet Sauvignon Day. And there's a few others on there. I believe it's also a secondary National Wine Day, National Red Wine Day, and then there's also National Power Rangers Day, if you're a Power Rangers fan. It is 64 degrees is what we have currently right around Charlotte. We have not moved our temperatures in over an hour. That happens when you have an overcast to a cloudy sky, but we are going to see some brighter spots start to develop over the next few hours, and then certainly by the afternoon. And then overnight tonight, we're going to completely clear out that cloud cover. Now, 86 degrees for a high tomorrow, 84 on Saturday, with an isolated shower or storm chance is going to start to move in. Now, that's the thing about heading into the weekend. We're going to start to pick up more showers and storms. Nothing is really going to be major as far as any rainfall goes, but there's still going to be that potential. So let's roll through some of your rain chances for your Labor Day weekend. First off, let's bring up our temperatures a little bit closer look. 84, 80, and 79. Now, one thing I have changed here on WCNC Plus is I brought down our rain chance for Labor Day. It looks very minuscule, and we might have to make another adjustment, but things just look way too dry and out of the Charlotte area. But Saturday and Sunday, not so much. Now, these aren't especially high. I'm not talking about a likely hours of rain. These are just the typical pop-up showers and thunderstorms. But since I'm talking about pop-up showers and storms, guess what? That also means that we have storm fuel, which is that muggier air. So expect a more humid weekend to come, but it's only going to be temporary before we have another dry out period. Our futurecast today, this is 5 p.m. Is that a shower? Is that going to happen? No, we're not going to expect any pop-up showers or storms. That could be a darker cloud you see a little bit later on. It's not going to reach the surface, not calling for any rain. And then by tomorrow, certainly nothing, because tomorrow is really another sunnier day, just like what we saw yesterday. Yesterday and tomorrow are very similar. The only difference is it does start to feel a little bit stickier by tomorrow. And then check out what happens when you get into your Saturday. Now, Saturday, I think we're dry for the morning, mix of clouds and sunshine throughout the day. But once you get to about 2 to 3, we're seeing an isolated shower storm, especially the further south you go or right along the Tennessee border. And then by the mid to late afternoon, we're seeing isolated storms that aren't going to last long. These are the ones that pop up, don't really move too much, could be a quick downpour, lasts up to 45 minutes to an hour tops, and then another one could drift by, but most of us are going to stay dry. And then through your Saturday evening, we are going to see some twisting showers and storms sticking around the mountains and foothills through the overnight that could start off a little bit of a wet situation around the Charlotte area, so keep that in mind. Once we get past this little system that brushes by, we're going to dry things out for your Labor Day, so things looking good if you're grilling out or doing whatever. And then the lower 80s, a drier, more comfortable forecast in the middle of the week. By the first weekend of September, we are calling for a little warm up back to the mid to the upper 80s, so not too bad. So looks like September might even be feeling a little more August-like than the last week of August. Let's get right over to Destiny and see how your traffic's looking this morning.
Traffic is still very busy, even at 8:30 this morning. So wherever you're traveling, just be aware of that. This is I-85 southbound near Belmont. On the northbound side, there is a crash. It's not causing as many backups here in the Belmont area, but I-85 is not without issues. If we go to the map here, we can see the crash that is causing the most backups right now, and that is I-85 north at Cox Road. That's exit 21. The shoulder is blocked. There were 2 lanes blocked before, which is why we're still seeing a big backup, but hopefully things start to clear up soon now that it's moved over to the shoulder. This is the Belmont crash that is still in the area, I-85 north at NC 273, but right now, again, not seeing the huge backups like we were near Cox, but just be aware that that is on the map right now. Going over to Northeast Charlotte, I-85 southbound at North Graham Street, exit 40, shoulder blocked in this area. So just be aware of that. A little bit of a medium traffic impact here. And then just looking across the map, things have kind of improved, but we're still seeing a lot of congestion on I-77 especially. So just keep that in mind this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated if anything else pops up.
The Matthews Alive Festival kicks off tomorrow. A number of roads are going to be closed for the 4-day event. Take a look here at your screen. Starting tomorrow at 9, South Trade Street is going to be closed from East John to McDowell. Then at 5 p.m., the closure is going to extend all the way to Main Street. Those roads are going to reopen Monday night at 11:30. Keep it right here. Coming up, why hamburgers may cost a little more this Labor Day holiday.
.40 now, time for us to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. Some people predicted artificial intelligence would make traditional software obsolete. Experts say that's just not true.
Traditional software is a $1.2 trillion industry. One expert says it's not going away overnight. Let's connect the dots. AI tools like OpenAI's GPT-5 can crank out apps using plain language, but tech leaders say they can't handle the massive, complex systems big companies rely on, especially when sensitive or regulated data is involved. Even GPT-5's own demo had some hiccups, and Meta's Llama 4 has gotten its fair share of criticism, showing AI still has real limits. Despite that, big software players like Workday and Salesforce aren't backing away. They're leaning in, adding AI features into their platforms, not replacing them. Analysts say enterprise workflows are simply too complicated for full automation right now. So the bottom line, AI isn't killing software, it's becoming part of it. And that's connecting the dots.
If you're cooking out this holiday weekend, you may notice the price of beef has gone way up. According to the federal government, the price of beef has been steadily increasing over the past year. Now it's at record levels. Farmers say the increase is mainly due to a simple issue of supply and demand.
We are in the middle of a classic cattle cycle in the United States, which happens every so often. We are at the lowest cattle inventory in the country by some metrics, the lowest since 1950.
Last year today we were buying heifers for $2.30 a pound and steers for $2.60 a pound, and today they have costed like $3.30 to $4 on some of these steers, and these heifers are still rising. Great time for the American farmer. You know, he can actually pay some of his land and some of his equipment cost and, you know, operating costs compared to previous years where you're just kind of floating by.
Researchers say ground beef and steaks are 12% more expensive compared to this time last year.
This morning, many people are asking, where's the money at the grocery store? A recent poll from the Associated Press showed 53% of people reported grocery costs are a major stress.
That's why WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg is here with some ways to get the most bang for your buck.
Eating healthy while on a budget can seem impossible. The registered dietitian Julia Zampano with the Cleveland Clinic says there are ways to save by shifting your focus to whole foods instead of snacks and drinks.
Make a grocery list. Check for sales and you know, any discounts or coupons. Those are also great.
Zampano says buying in bulk can also save money. So can avoiding what she calls convenience foods, like pre-washed vegetables, pre-marinated meats, and fruits that already have been cut.
If you're able to do some of that legwork on your own, you can save cost there too.
Other ways to help: buy frozen fruit and vegetables, fresh produce that's in season, and meats that are on sale, and freeze them to save for later. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
We were saying earlier, ChatGPT can be a great way to help you figure out your grocery list, to get all the items. But for me, the spoiler is buying snacks for kids.
Yeah.
Because snacks are, again, they're not inexpensive.
And they want them.
And they want them. They eat. Sometimes they want 2 dinners, but that's a whole nother story. The after school and then later before bed.
What about the snacks that mom wants?
I mean, those are different, okay? Mine are a little more premium, and mama needs her snacks too, right?
Mama needs her snacks. Agree. We're back here in 2 minutes with your holiday weekend forecast.
It's 8:46 now. Right now, many of you may be planning to head out on the water this Labor Day weekend. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources is urging people to stay safe while on the lakes. They also want you to be patient with other boaters. There's going to be more traffic during the holiday weekend.
Just like any other holiday weekend out here, there's going to be increased traffic on the water. And unlike the roadways where we have lines that are painted, stop signs, traffic lights, all these traffic control devices, you don't have that on the waterway. And that goes back to what I was saying, people need to slow down, be patient with other boaters, and have a good time.
Officials also urge you to check your boating safety equipment and make sure that you have your registration on hand before heading into the water.
Good morning, everybody. Check it out. If you can't find any blue sky, all you have to do is go up over 4,000 feet. We're on top of Beach Mountain right now. Absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking. Now, some of that cloud cover, this shows that it is a little bit shallower in the atmosphere, and that oftentimes can be a lot thicker and a lot tougher to overcome. You can see some of those darker cloud bottoms over here in Lylesville. This is what I was talking about earlier. I was showing a futurecast and it had some green blips. It's picking up that there is an ample amount of moisture up above us for it to rain. It's not going to happen here at the surface, so good news there. But this is the way much of the day is going to look. And you might be saying, I was like, oh, that's kind of a crummy day, but it feels great. Even though we don't have a lot of sunshine. And we will have some areas of blue skies starting to fight through here and there. It's proved by seeing a little bit of that orange off in the distance. High temperatures at 81 degrees, so actually not too far off the mark of what we had yesterday. But that cloud cover is going to be pretty stubborn from time to time. And then it'll start to mix into more of a mostly cloudy to partly sunny at best scenario later on today. But the clouds definitely the dominant feature. Through the overnight, temperatures dropping down quickly through the 70s and eventually into the 60s. Since we are clearing things out, we should return to the lower 60s instead of the mid 60s for Charlotte, and some of us will also drift further back into the 50s. And then we'll have a nice little ramp up again, a much warmer day by tomorrow. But all in all, our lows are missing the mark because the average low should be 67, 68 this time of year, even back down to the upper 50s. And this is for Charlotte, by the way, on Tuesday. So another cool down expected earlier next week. Tomorrow, gorgeous. If you loved yesterday, you're going to love tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are anticipating still a drier day, a sunny day, but we're going to start to feel a little bit sticky. This is really pick of the week number 2, so this is a close second for the best day of the week. But hey, for some of you, because again, pick of the week is just subjective, you might choose tomorrow because it's a little bit warmer. 84 degrees on Saturday. We'll have, I think, a partly sunny sky, chance for a developing thunderstorm in the afternoon, some morning rain, and then a chance for a thunderstorm on Sunday. And then after that, I moved your Monday over to a drier status. The reason why you see that green bar is there's still an outside chance that the mountains could have an isolated shower or storm. And Sunday also stands out from the rest that it is the only day that truly is getting into that humid range. I think Saturday is going to be close enough. But all in all, we're living in this comfortable dew point range, meaning it'll feel great or just as invigorating as what we have today. So that extended forecast looking absolutely brilliant and gorgeous. Lower 80s by next Tuesday and Wednesday. Warmest day is on Friday. The coolest day barely is on Labor Day. And we should be back to the mid 80s yet again by Thursday and Friday of next week. August is almost coming to a close, and so is our morning commute. But let's see how it's faring right now with Destiny Richards.
Yeah, we've had some improvements, but it is still going this morning. This is I-77 just south of Uptown near Remount Road. Right here, folks leaving the Uptown area. There, folks driving towards Uptown. It is slow here on the southbound side this morning. It's a tale of two parts of I-77 where inbound traffic on the northbound side was really heavy. Now it's lightening up. Now it's getting heavier south of Uptown. So this morning going to I-85, though, this crash near Gastonia is clear, but still lots of backups here. The accident was moved to the shoulder at last check here at Cox Road, but as you can see, still a lot of backups. I-85 north at NC 273, a little bit of a backup here on 273 itself, but not so much of an impact on I-85. Going over to Northeast Charlotte, the shoulder blocked at I-85 southbound at North Graham Street. And then here's what we were talking about with I-77. So this has cleared. This has been on the map since 6:42 this morning. The pedestrian accident at Nations Ford Road at I-77. The traffic there is starting to ease up a bit, but again, new problems. Remount Road at I-77. We'll continue to track these for you.
51 right now on WCNC Plus. The Carolina Panthers making moves with just a week to go before the season starts. The Panthers trading away receiver Adam Thielen to the team he came from, the Minnesota Vikings. Thielen has been the team's leading receiver the last 2 years. Here's what the deal looks like. The Panthers also sending Minnesota a 7th and 5th round pick in return. Carolina receives a 5th round pick next year and a 4th round selection in 2027.
Some not so good news for the Panthers. Left tackle Ike Ekwonu is now recovering from surgery. The Charlotte native was not at practice yesterday after having his appendix removed on Sunday. Team officials say he is doing better, but his day-to-day leading up to the first game of the year, that's at Jacksonville. All right, well, trending this morning, have you seen this? A major upset and lots of drama in the women's U.S. Open. It's all because of Taylor Townsend's huge upset over the 25th ranked Jelena Ostapenko of Latvia. Townsend beat her in straight sets. Now, after the match, they actually shook hands initially, but then they got into an argument. Ostapenko posted on Instagram about the situation, saying Townsend was disrespectful during the match and didn't say sorry. We're talking about a net cord, something when the ball hits the net but stays in play. Townsend then responded, calling her opponent a sore loser. This went on for quite some time, too. Goodness. Yeah, it was fiery. Ouch. Yeah, not good. All right, well, this week we mark 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. The effects of that storm still being felt today. Reporter Morgan Lentis explains how the storm inspired rapper Master P's mission to do good in his native New Orleans and in a city 700 miles away.
Yes, sir.
Sinking shots and running drills.
Yeah, touch his knee. Let's go.
Percy Miller has a new moniker, Coach P.
It's all about getting the lakefront back to where it used to be. A lot of these guys 18 and 19 years old.
Miller is the new president of operations for UNO's basketball team, a team made up of players who weren't alive when Hurricane Katrina devastated the city, an arena they now consider home.
That's been since Hurricane Katrina, but that's the only little minor thing.
Fixing up the facility is his latest passion project, but doing good is nothing new for Miller. Hurricane Katrina kickstarted those efforts.
It was tough. I had family members on top of the houses, and I had family members relocated.
Many were put on planes with no idea where they'd end up. The destination?
I really want to thank the city of Louisville.
Kentucky. Miller says the city made an immediate impact on him.
The people just opened their arms with just nothing but love for my people.
Within months, he teamed up with Louisville activist Christopher 2X, promoting education initiatives, anti-violence campaigns, even paying for the funerals of young victims. That's where I first learned about his work.
In LaGrange, I'm Morgan Lentis, WLKY News.
While working as a reporter at WDSU's sister station. Years later, and now in New Orleans, I asked Miller why he continues to show up for the town that sheltered his family after the storm.
But we're thankful. If somebody do something for you, you're going to remember them forever.
20 years later, that gratitude is seemingly paid in full. But the rapper says his mission is just beginning. From the court to Kentucky, he says there's no limit to what he can do.
Everything that we've been doing is to create future leaders. And so to be able to do it in New Orleans, do it in Louisville, and so many other places, that mean that my life has been blessed.
He's just a class act.
I did not realize, I mean, Master P, as some may know,
Yes.
was big while you and I were a bit younger.
Yeah.
I did not know he was now president of operations of basketball
You know what?
at UNO.
Did not know that, but really not surprised because he's quite talented and very smart. From a no-limit soldier there to the team. Gotta love it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now inside our live Impact studio. Jane Montreal standing by, getting ready to take over duties. She'll have breaking news as it happens right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. All in all, it has been a cloudier morning, and it will be still a mainly cloudy day, but we are going to see some areas of blue sky. Boone, you're already doing it, so we'll have some brighter spots. 81 degrees for a high today, very close to what we had yesterday. Feeling great today, invigorating start to the morning, and then through the afternoon, mainly in the 70s. Now, going forward tomorrow, a lot more sunshine, the warmest day in the mid-80s, and then pretty much either side of 80 degrees to complete August and begin the new month of September into Labor Day. Destiny, let's get over to traffic.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to be careful this morning, whether you're commuting to work or getting started on Labor Day weekend travel. This is I-77 near Remount Road, just south of Uptown this morning. Traffic has been very slow here on the southbound side because of this new accident. Remount Road at I-77, so heads up if you're heading south past Uptown this morning. We also have this crash in the Gastonia area. The shoulder is blocked. It's officially cleared, but lots of backups here, I-85 north at Cox Road. Have a great Thursday.